Hey friends, so I know it can be kind of a challenge when you're first playing around with timing and direction to figure out how to go back and forth between the different combinations. Drex here from DrexFactor.com, and I'm going to give you guys just a little mini lesson on how you can use stalls right at the beginning of your poi journey to switch back and forth between all of these lovely timing and direction combinations. Before we dive in, I just want to give a shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Toys, LMF Props, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can visit all of these companies by following the links I've got down in the description of this video. So when we first learn stalls, most of the time we're learning how to do them together with our hands. But the real awesome possibilities of stalls occur when we're doing them with only one hand at a time and switching back and forth between different timing and direction combinations. So the key here is something that's kind of like rubbing your belly and patting your head at the same time, namely keeping one poi spinning while the other poi is doing stalls. And it's not impossible, but it does take a little bit of work to get there. So we're going to talk through how you get there today. We're going to start off by just having you drilling your stalls with one hand. That is your down stalls, and if you can, also your bottom stalls. These are the stalls that gravity is kind of working with you. If you don't already have your stalls down, I highly recommend checking out my tutorial series on basic beginner poi. I'm going to link to that down in the description and up in the cards if you're watching this on YouTube. And what I want you to do is be able to do 10 solid stalls either way with the bottom as well as down stalls with each hand, yeah? I want you to make sure that both your left hand and your right hand can do these stalls. That's going to be super critical to this drill, yeah? Cool. So the next step of this is going to be that you're just going to keep one hand kind of like out in play while the other one is doing its stalls. And you might find that you have some trouble doing the stalls and keeping them out of the way of the other hand, and that's totally fine. Part of the work of this is to figure out exactly how much room you need in order to nail these stalls and how to move your hand as it's doing those stalls to keep it out of the way of the other hand, yeah? Once you got a pretty good grasp of that, once again, you can do 10 stalls back and forth, either bottom or down stalls, and of course you can do it with both hands. Now I want you to switch over to having the other hand doing pendulums back and forth. We're going to eventually work our way up to doing a full spin around our hand, but pendulums are something that require just a little bit less mental energy to maintain, so they're good for this purpose. And again, I want you to take your other hand and practice doing stalls with it, yeah? And again, this is patting your belly and rubbing your head at the same time. So you might find that at first your brain does a little bit of like, oh, what are you talking about? And that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. The point of this is to practice it, to work your way up to it, and eventually get it to the point where you can do those bottom and down stalls while the other hand is just keeping a pendulum going. And it doesn't have to be like full-on pendulums as high as you can go on the other side, just so long as you're keeping the poi moving at all, yeah? Cool. And once that gets to feel pretty comfortable, of course, switch over to doing it with the opposite hand. Try and see if you can keep that pendulum going as your non-dominant hand is performing both its bottom stalls and its down stalls. Yeah? Cool. And once that gets to feel comfortable, now it's time to work your way up to full spins. And this is where the drill really starts to take flight, and you can see how it becomes useful for switching back and forth between different timing and direction combinations. So I'm going to start off in together same here with my two poi spinning clockwise. And with my right hand here, I'm going to stall out to a down stall. Now, I can stay here as long as I want, because part of the work here is to make sure that that left hand is going to keep on going even as the right hand is stalled. So I might need a second to kind of gather my thoughts and make sure that each of these things are doing what they're supposed to be. And once I've had my time to gather my thoughts, with my right hand, I'm going to come back out of the stall into together opposites or butterfly, right? Cool. Now again, I am going to try and stall my left poi out by doing a bottom stall and bring it around into clockwise with the right hand once again, yeah? So all the way around with that, I'm going to stall down my right hand poi, and I'm going to pull it back into a butterfly, and then I'm going to do a bottom stall, and I'm going to pull it back around into both poi going clockwise, yeah? It's going to be super tempting to kind of like do the stall and then pull the poi back in going the same direction. And that's not the point of this exercise. We want to switch the direction of the poi, which again takes a little bit of mental energy, but I have faith that you can teach yourself how to do it. So take a second to think about it after that downstall has happened, and really think that you're pulling the poi up above your hand as you come back around into that butterfly. And when you do that bottom stall away from you, make sure you're dragging both poi down past your ankles as you're coming out of that stall, and it should get you where you want to go, right? Okay, so now we got to talk about what the left hand is going to do here. And the left hand is actually going to start off with a bottom stall. It is going to stall away and down and is going to come back in a reverse butterfly. That is, now the poi are coming up through the middle rather than down through the middle. And we are also going to perform a down stall to bring it up and back around into both of the poi going clockwise, yeah? So the complete drill is you're going to stall down with your right hand, come back in a forwards butterfly, and do the bottom stall, come around clockwise. Left hand does the bottom stall, comes back around in a reverse butterfly, stalls down and out, and comes back clockwise, yeah? So you see in the course of that how we're moving back and forth between our poi going clockwise and in a forwards butterfly, our poi going clockwise again, reverse butterfly, and poi going clockwise again, yeah? So we're kind of alternating clockwise, butterfly, clockwise, butterfly. And this is a great drill for, number one, being able to train your two hands to do two different things at the same time. And number two, to be able to switch timing and direction at will. If you want to, you can do the thing where you count down 3, 2, 1 beats, and then you switch, 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 so that it's something that you're doing voluntarily. You know, one of those problems that tends to happen a lot when we start off with a lot of beginner poi tricks is it feels like we're not completely voluntarily in control of the tricks that we're doing and how many of those tricks that we're doing. And so the sooner you can kind of assert that voluntary control over what you're doing, the better. So there's kind of a twofer benefit to doing this. So there's also a version of this that you can do where you're alternating which stalls are happening. So if I say start off by stalling my right hand, I can then switch over to my left hand, and I've come around to spinning in together same counterclockwise. And now I can do right hand out and reverse butterfly, left hand out, and I'm back to clockwise, yeah? So this drill is actually really cool because it takes you through all four ways that together opposites and together same can operate. We're going clockwise, forwards butterfly, counterclockwise, reverse butterfly, and back to clockwise, yeah? So I actually really, really like that ladder drill. I think that that is a great way to explore this space because it literally takes you through every single way that you can move through both together same as well as together opposites. So if you are a beginner who is learning the basics of timing and direction and you're trying to figure out good ways of switching back and forth between them, I highly recommend this drill. And it's also a drill that you can use with, say, the split timings. So if I'm doing split time same direction, I can do the stall with my right hand and come around into split opposites, stall with the left, split time same direction going counterclockwise, stall with the right, I'm in split opposites, stall with the left, and I'm back to split time same direction going clockwise, yeah? So if you've got the ability to do it, I highly recommend taking about like 15 to 20 minutes a day to work through this drill because it's going to build all sorts of awesome connections in your brain that are going to be a huge help to you down the line when you start playing with things like hybrids and the like, where you have to have the two hands doing two completely different things, yeah? So I hope this is helpful. I hope that you beginners out there are able to get something out of this drill and that it helps you a little bit on your journey, yeah? So if you dug this lesson and enjoyed the drills in it, you should really consider signing up for the Flow Circle. This is one of the things that I offer through my Patreon. I've been getting a lot of feedback from folks that are having a difficult time finding the time to practice, and I wanted to be able to put out short 5-minute lessons that include drills that you can do for 10 to 15 minutes a day, and that way you can improve on your poi and not have the practice time feel like an overwhelming thing that you have to deal with. This very lesson was actually adapted from something that I originally did in the Flow Circle. So If you enjoyed it, you should go sign up over at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. And if you dug this video, I also highly recommend signing up for my notification squad. And that way you know when is the next time I drop a video like this. You can do that by hitting the subscribe button as well as the notification bell, and that way you will be the first to know. Before I set you guys loose, I just want to put out a massive thank you to all of my awesome supporters on Patreon, because they are the reason that this video and all the videos on my channel exist. If you would like to sign up to support the work that I do, please head on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. Thanks in advance. So did you dig this drill? What were some of your favorite drills that you did when you were first learning how to spin poi? Let me know down in the comments. And of course, let me know if there are particular things that you're working on that you would like to see me put videos out there on how to do. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and check out the other videos on this channel. Thanks a lot and enjoy the flow. Peace.